either.
Yeah, good. Until I get that email that says no one's picking it up, there's not going to be a wrap-up miniseries, there's not going to be a second season or anything like that, I'm still hanging in there. I mean, at this point, basically we're waiting to hear about it, but everyone has started to kind of do other things because you can't just wait forever. But I know that all of the actors and the writer and producers are into it, and if we were given the opportunity, we would all jump at it and get it done, because we all want to see where it ends.
Such a good show. I mean, left me on the edge from the moment I started watching it. I was like holding on to like a pillow that I had on the couch and just like, what's gonna happen next? And it's just amazing.
That's what I was like too. My friends and I would all get together and go to my mom's house and watch it every week, and then we would talk about it. And because I was not told what all of the secrets were, I could sort of theorize with them. I mean, I would be an episode or two ahead of them, but it was just fun to sit around and listen to what everyone's thoughts were about it.
Yeah, wow, that's really cool. That's really neat. Of the actors on the show, who are you closest with? Are you friends with any of them, or how does that work?
We all sort of became a little family. I mean, I guess the ones that I became closest to were Sarah Romer and Taylor Cole, because they were in my storyline the most. And Heather McComb, who was Agent Collier at the beginning. Other than that, Ian Anthony Dale was probably the next one up. I mean, he and I were really excited to get these parts, and our storylines converged every once in a while. And he's just a great guy. He's a really good person. So probably those. But we all kind of became close. Even Blair and Sophia and Jelko and Bill Smitrovich, who played the vice president, had me over for 4th of July. So
that must have been fun.
It was fun. Now that I wasn't shoving a handmade plastic gun in his face, it was a little...
That's funny. Let's see. Who do you dislike more, Jarvis or Sophia?
I dislike Jarvis more because Sophia... Well, gosh, that's a tough one. The problem was, and one of the reasons that I like the show is that they, there weren't just any straight up evil characters. They were all fighting for something that they thought was the right thing, and Sophia had to bring her people here. And she does some pretty evil things, like, try to kill the entire population of planet Earth. But she also, she tried to use diplomacy as much as she could until it broke down. Jarvis, the problem, I guess the reason that I initially said that I like Jarvis less, even though the things that he does aren't as bad, he's not actively, killing off an entire planet of people. But his motivations are more about power for himself, and sort of like a weak, he just has like this ego and all of this pride, and he sort of goes against his own friends. And that's the reason that I think I like Jarvis less than Sophia. Like, Sophia is pretty bad, but, yeah, exactly. And in her world, she's a hero.
Yeah.
Because Jarvis isn't really a hero to anybody. He's just sort of a pawn and a sucker.
She's just trying to protect her family, basically.
Exactly. So you can understand it.
The whole world has to suffer for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Someone's gonna suffer, I guess.
Huh?
I said someone's gonna suffer, I guess.
Exactly.
Was there anything in the storyline that you were surprised about or did not see coming?
Yeah, there was a lot that I didn't see coming. I mean, I remember being pretty surprised about just the whole sort of Dempsey storyline, and that when all those little girls turned around and they all were old and scary. We called them the Raisinets.
The Raisinets.
Yeah. But that whole plot line I did not see coming. I knew that, they were genetically, 1%, less than 1% different from us. But I didn't see it, I didn't see it coming that there would be this whole, extracting some kind of something from hybrids and injecting it into Dempsey and all that stuff. But to be honest, there's a lot that I didn't see coming. I also did not see coming, I did not see Vicky's transformation coming at all. At the beginning of the story, it was like, oh, she's nice to us, she kidnapped my girlfriend, she's my mortal enemy. I never ever saw that there would be a kind of storyline where she starts to respect me, and it was a slow road to that, but I didn't see that coming.
I definitely did not see that coming either.
Yeah.
One of the great things about the event, there's so many different twists and turns, and always keeping at the edge of your seat.
Exactly. Yeah, they can't leave it like that.
All right. Let's see. So many questions are asked. Let's see. How about what is something that the fans could do also to help save it? Like as you know, we already have this group, the Continuity Event group.
That's fantastic.
We've been hosting events like on Facebook to send letters, to post to people. Sorry, my bird's starting to talk, so just ignore that. But anything else? Is there anything else we could do?
You could, they could write messages to either, Mr. Greenblatt, the head of NBC, could write to, and by write, either like a physical letter or, a Facebook post to their site or a Twitter thing to, to them, to Sci-Fi, to Hulu, to Netflix, anyone that you think might feel like, oh, there's basically, I think one of the problems is it's somewhat of an expensive show, so some of the smaller channels I feel like are nervous that they can't afford it, but maybe if there was a group of people who all worked together and they all got the rights to it. I also think they could make it, this is all just my personal opinion, but they could make it for a lot, if they were to do a wrap-up 2-hour miniseries, I think they could make it for a lot less, because I think at this point, the people watching the show don't need many more exciting action sequences or explosions or those big expensive things. And if we were going to start wrapping the story up, it would be more about the mythology and tying it up, and just more about just the writing and the acting, and we would have to have one or two cool. But I think they would be able to make it for less. So it's just a matter of them trying to figure this balancing act out, and the nice thing is that there hasn't been anyone, even Mr. Greenblatt said in some article the other day that that's still a possibility, and he's not saying that it could never happen. So you never know.
Yeah, I know. I really hope. There's definitely still hope out there. There's definitely still something for us to hope, right?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I'd always rather be an optimist who turns out to be wrong than just a pessimist who gets it right every once in a while.
All right, I just have a few more questions, if that's okay.
Of course, I'm here. I have nothing to do today.
One question was, someone asked, if the event was a real story, what would you do if you knew sleepers were trying to come take over the planet?
What would I do personally?
Yeah, what would you do personally if the whole situation was real?
Oh my gosh.
You found out about it.
I just really hope that there was someone like Sean Walker out there. Or, that's a great question. Because